The Podcasting Dead is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Make sure to subscribe for more podcasts. And while you're at it, drop us a like. If you want to help support the channel and have access to extra content, secret contest, and more, make sure to search for us on Patreon. Patreon.com/thepodcastingdead.
All right, so we're back. Normally on Wednesday, we would do a Weird Wednesday conspiracy cast, but we have to first apologize. I actually was out of work yesterday. I had a wicked sinus infection. It felt like somebody was splitting my head open with an axe. I was congested, sore throat, all that good stuff. So I had just decided it'd be best to stay at home. And so we didn't get to do a Tuesday Patreon cast, and we haven't been able to come up with anything for Weird Wednesday. But JP made an interesting observation, and we decided, hey, I don't think our listeners would be too upset with another Walking Dead podcast.
Yeah, and we'll get back on the conspiracy stuff next week. I've been doing some more digging with the coronavirus, but my shit's not together this morning. So
it's all out of whack. It's so weird how when somebody throws a wrench in your normal schedule, it just throws everything off. Like me being sick yesterday and not doing a Patreon cast, it just kind of everything gets a little derailed.
Yeah, man. But like you were saying, and this came from an article I was reading. I forget the source, but and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. A lot of people on Twitter and social media comparing the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead, the cave sequences, to the I forget which episode of Game of Thrones, but it was the last season, the battle for Winterfell with the Night King, how it was so dark you couldn't tell what the hell was going on. And there were a lot of instances in the caves where, that it was pretty much the same thing, man. I mean, when Jerry was holding up the, everything from crashing down, and Magna was like, I mean, I don't know about you, man. I definitely got a little bit confused throughout the cave adventure.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's not something that I would fault only The Walking Dead and even Game of Thrones for. It seems like in the modern age, I don't know if maybe my TVs just suck. I mean, I've got a brand new TV upstairs, so it definitely can't be someone, I could see someone saying, well, maybe because I do have an older TV downstairs, and I could hear someone saying, well, that's why. But I've watched The Walking Dead upstairs, and scenes that have been in the dark have been almost too dark to see what's going on. I don't know why in the modern age it's so hard to not have your night scenes be too dark.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I get that it's in a cave. You want to feel like how claustrophobic it is. But at the end of the day, man, I don't want it to be like just super well lit, but I do want to at least be able to tell what the hell's going on, Oh, yeah. No, and for the record, I love the episode. I mean, like we had said, kind of with the finale, I was expecting, I don't know, maybe a little bit more, and maybe just in terms of death. Maybe it's crazy how different we might even be looking at it if Jerry would have gotten ripped apart when he got stuck. We might be like, this is one of the best premieres ever. But I loved the episode, loved it. It was tense. It had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. You were there. It had me talking out loud, which I don't normally do with shows and movies, where I'm like, come on, Jerry, come on. And just, very unnerving when they were hopping from stone to stone. That was tense. So it was a fantastic episode, very tense. A lot more horror-esque and suspenseful than we've seen before, but I could agree with that. And it's a small complaint. It's a very marginal complaint. It's not it's not the end of the world, but I do agree. Like, hey, man, to all shows out there, when you're filming night scenes, let's figure a way to just see what's happening. I don't know, Yeah, man. And something else kind of interesting, man. I was actually looking for the article I read earlier, but it says the shocking Walking Dead sex scene with Negan and Alpha, of course, actually raised the ratings. They had a total of 3.5 million viewers as opposed to 3.21 million that watched the mid-season finale. So just all the buzz about some weird sex scene.
I was going to say, I don't
on quite a bit of viewership.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it's because of Alpha and Negan per se, because I think that's the hookup not many people actually wanted to see. But I do think that when they, sex sells, man. So when people heard there was going to be some kind of crazy sex scene, they all just tuned in to see who was going to be banging who.
Yeah, man. It says a 15% rise in viewers, 25 to 54, 2 million total, and 17% rise in viewers, 18 to 49.
Man, what's your source on that?
It is from comicbook.com, Walking Dead on comicbook.com.
Wow. Sex sales, man. Sex sales.
Yeah,
people will tune in for sexy time, and I mean that's just a further proof of it. I don't know, man. Samantha Morrison, like when Alpha dressed up and went into the hilltop. I mean, to the kingdom. No, the hill. I'm having a complete brain fart. They had the fair at the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm thinking hilltop. Yeah, of course they had the fair at the kingdom.
Right.
When she went to the kingdom and was dressed up, she's not a bad looking lady, but it's just for me, it's not even like looks. Mm-hmm. The grossness of having sex with Alpha. It's the dried out, human skin on top of her face that you'd be making contact with, and then on top, aside from that, it's the way they live. That has just got to be some very unhygienic kept whoopee, and I just but yeah, it's just a sex scene. I mean, a lot of people were saying that it was going to be Daryl and Connie, which would have been interesting because I mean, the way Daryl has been on this show, I mean, I'm not 100% sure if he's ever had sex with anyone. He just doesn't seem like ladies don't interest him in the slightest, and neither do the men. So I don't know that I could see Daryl. And I mean, he has the grunting down.
Yeah, I would have rather seen that, man. Like they, Jerry dies in the cave, and they're overcome with, they're happy, they're freed, but they're also grieving. And
so Daryl and Connie just strip down in front of everyone and start humping.
Well, once they get back to Alexandria or wherever they're going, they quell the grief and the sorrow with some butt smashing.
But I don't. They pitched it as this controversial sex scene, but I mean, we didn't see sex. They just stood there and embraced each other naked.
Yeah, they definitely could have done more. Like I said, I really felt like that episode played it way too safe on a lot of fronts.
Oh, yeah. And then that's a good point. Like I said, fantastic episode, but they definitely did play. I mean, like I said, you had no deaths.
Yeah.
The sex scene, you had the warning there, sexual content, and what we got was, and at the same time, though, I don't know that I'm going to complain on that end because I don't know that I really wanted to see that.
Yeah,
but
still,
I do think that to have been promoted as this whole, just crazy. It's going to be sexually explicit. I mean, we've seen stuff like this before. Remember Abraham and Rosita in the library when they were camped out? I mean, they were both naked. I'm pretty sure we saw some Abraham butt there.
I hope so. But yeah, man, and the whole cave-in kind of is reminiscent of like Glenn under the dumpster, are they dead? Are they not dead? Blah, blah,
we have
blah,
seen that quite a few times in this show. Like, Are they dead? They're not dead. I can agree with that too.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I feel like Angela King's definitely right at the ship, but let's not go back into the dark waters that we had left before,
Yeah, and and that sucks to say because I liked that episode. I thought it was a good one. It was tense. I actually plan to go back and rewatch it sometime this week. Just to because a lot of times you catch things on the second time that you don't see.
I'll probably watch it before I watch the new episode come Sunday.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, just small little minute complaints. I mean, nothing insane, but minute. I don't know that I used that word correctly there, but still, just small complaints. Nothing that we're saying the show's going off the rails. Because some people are straight up drama queens with this stuff. Like they'll talk about that and be like, the show is just back to it just sucks, and I'm never, and it's like, no, we're discussing the show. So don't take this podcast as a crazy what's the way? I mean, I guess it is a complaint. I'm struggling today. Trying to choose my words better, but don't take it as like a massive complaint podcast because that's not what it's about. I mean, we're all grown-ups here. We're all fans of the show, and clearly if you're listening to this, then you enjoy discussing or hearing discussion on the show, so that's what we're doing is discussing it. And as much as we love it, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. I mean, we're not afraid to say how we feel about certain things.
Yeah, man, like I said, more good than bad, but still room for improvement, in my opinion.
Yeah, very well said. I could agree with that. But yeah, I just it's weird. I didn't want to see Jerry die. I mean, like Kelly's one.
Me neither, dude. But it needed to happen. Like it really needed to happen, dude. Just to up the ante and remind everybody, hey, nobody's safe.
It would have been heartbreaking.
I didn't want to lose Jerry. He's one of the characters I love the most. Super entertaining. But at the same time, man, it needed to happen. But it didn't happen. And what are you gonna do, right?
What if he did get bit deeper in his shoe than we thought?
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe he thinks he's got an ingrown toenail when in reality
He's got an ingrown walker.
Yeah, but and I'm sure like the showrunners and everybody's like, ratings are kind of iffy right now. The last thing we want to do is kill off one of our most popular characters, especially right out the gate, mid-season premiere. But I still think they should have done it, man.
Oh yeah, and I don't know, man. What's so heartbreaking about Connie, if she's dead, if she's going to die, is that Magna was being a complete ass to Carol.
Yeah,
and Connie was comforting her. They both Connie and Magna both represented two sides of the same coin in a way. Like Magna, both of them knew that Carol was the reason they were in this mess. They both knew that it was. Now she didn't intend it for sure, but that her recklessness led to this moment. But Connie, rather than rub it in her face or be shitty to her, Connie chose the high road and comforted Carol, throughout the entrapment there. Like she was showing kindness to Carol, whereas Magna was just being a douchebag. And it's like, What are you thinking? Running off into the woods like that? Again, I say like she's talking to a child or to her, like her grandmother with dementia.
Man, maybe that's what's going on with Carol.
Running off into the woods like that.
I don't know.
Oh, man. But some great acting this episode.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, lots of stuff to praise, but, still, you got to take the good with the bad.
Kelly, the actress that plays Kelly, did a pretty good job. She's one of those, man. They could have killed Kelly. And I mean, I know it might sound bad, but Kelly hadn't really done anything for me up to this point, like Connie. And it's not the actress's fault. It's just that we haven't really gotten, I don't know, maybe as much one-on-one time with her. Like we've had a lot of time between Connie and Dare Bear.
Right.
Jerry we've seen for a while. I do wish we could spend a little more time with Jerry, just in the sense of we know him as kind of the comical relief, but I'd love to see like some drama with Jerry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like with Kelly and Magna both, man, neither one do I really. If they would have swapped Kelly and Connie in the situation we're in, trapped under, I'd honestly be like, I really don't care whether if either one of them or both, whatever, make it out or not. Like neither, because Magna's just, and I get it, they're telling a story, and not everybody can be rainbow. I mean, I get every counter argument to that, but I mean, if I'm being completely honest and not trying to sound like an artistic, pretentious douche, I really don't care much for Kelly. I mean, not Kelly, for Magna. And Kelly, I don't not care about, but I don't care. It's really weird. It's hard to explain because, I mean, I don't want to sound like I hate either one of them, but Magna kind of gets on my nerves because she's just been real the last, season. And then Kelly, I haven't spent enough time with to really care about.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Magna, they've went out of their way to kind of make her like the, super cunty.
Right.
Like they've really just wanted more than anything to paint her as just someone you really don't like. I don't know.
And I get every, she's been through things. I mean, all of that I understand, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's one thing to take a character, make us love them, and then show us some things they've been through. And you didn't give me a chance to love Magna before you started making her difficult.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the best thing they could have done was pull Jerry's like just his torso out of that hole.
Straight up Resident Evil 2 style.
Yeah, man, just guts and entrails like coming out that hole, and we'd still be talking about it, man. We would still be in shock, But they didn't. That's fine.
Well, and if they did, it would have been cool to do like Resident Evil 2, the remake, where when they pull him out, like he's still moving for a second, and like he's like,
oh, yeah.
Jerry, we got you, come on. And as they pull him, he rips in half, and he's like, is it bad? And then you're just like, oh my god, and then he just kind of dies. Like, is it bad?
Or like they have to like put him put him down, kind of like when a Dale, got ripped open in the cow pasture. Rick was just like, sorry, brother.
God, we had some heartbreaking drama on this show in the beginning. It really was heartbreaking. I mean, even though, the whole reason Dale left was because the actor wanted to be written off the show because he was really good pals with Frank Darabont. And then they say that the actor that plays Dale changed his mind last minute. But at that point, they were like, look, man, we've already written the scene. We've already, we can't really go back and change it now. But with that said, it led to a very memorable death. I think that was perfect execution on The Walking Dead's part, because you took something which was kind of like Nick on Fear the Walking Dead, to be honest. You took these two deaths that were basically unplanned for in the beginning, and these people that didn't want to be on the show anymore, and rather than just write them off in some cheesy way, as we've seen with other characters, like Heath, which one could argue that Heath was being left in case he came back. But you actually made them into some of the most memorable deaths in the show's history. And Dale's was so heartbreaking. Daryl having to put Dale down, Rick killing Shane. Like, we had such good drama in the beginning, and we still have some good now, but it just I don't feel. Sometimes, like I said, the Magna thing is where I'm going. Not that the show itself has some great points. Last season was fantastic. Some of the drama's good, but I'm talking in reference to like Magna, I guess I should say, because I don't care about our drama.
Yeah, man, they definitely need to get back to just, edge of your seat kind of stuff. Anybody can go at any time.
Yep.
And I think we'll be a lot happier.
Yep. And then the second they kill someone, we'll be right back here complaining about why they should not have killed that person.
I don't want to see more like Carl kind of deaths, or
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't want to see just
One could argue that Tom Payne wanted to be written off the show, which I had read, but the reason why he wanted to be written off the show is because they were not utilizing Jesus at all. I mean, you had a fan favorite from the comics, and you ultimately just put him in the back seat on the show. I mean, Jesus is a big player in everything that happens, especially in All Out War. Jesus is just a badass, and he has he's at the front of every battle and just has so much more of a role. And then, they said Tom Payne, it took fighting lessons and acrobatics and just really had put a lot of time into trying to make this character real. And then the writing for the character was just kind of like, we're bringing you in for fan service.
Yeah,
but
and it was another one of those things. I mean, it was a finale. We knew someone was going to get the axe. And, of course it happened, very just kind of like stereotypically, the big fight at the end, they're discovering who the bad guy is. And, they're I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, it's... but nonetheless, when you love something so much, you do this.
I don't want to see it, regress. I don't want to see it kind of go back to, kind of the doldrums we were in a few seasons ago.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So
we don't want to go back to the All Out War days.
Yeah.
Which had its moments for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that I go, and it is funny how that works. So it's like, I definitely could say season 7 was lacking in some ways, but and even some of season 8. But it is, one of my pals watches it, but he doesn't watch it on TV. He waits till it comes out on Netflix and he binges the whole season. Mm-hmm. And he loved All Out War, like season 7 and 8 both. He was like, I don't know why people hate them so bad. And then I thought, and I was like, you know what? It's probably because you're watching them back to back. And then when I went back through recently with the show, there were still points like the whole Daryl and Dwight episode where he's feeding him dog food and all that. Yeah. Easy Street. That is a boring ass episode. That should have been happening in conjunction with things happening at Alexandria and other places. But with that said, it is a little bit easier to digest when it's all together.
Yeah.
I guess because we see it and we're bored, and then we have to wait a week to see something else. And if that episode kind of bores us, then you're like, well, Jesus. So, but nonetheless, we love you, The Walking Dead.
Yeah, we do. We hang in here with you. Hopefully the best is yet to come.
Yep. But yeah, so we just figured we'd pop in, discuss The Walking Dead a little bit, and it's time for us to wrap this thing on up. But we will catch you again, if nothing, we'll catch you with the Patreon cast tomorrow. I should not be sick again. My sinus infection's kind of chilled back. Still sucks, but not as bad. Mm-hmm. And so we'll see you tomorrow on Patreon. Consider checking that out, patreon.com/thepodcastingdead, or just go to patreon.com and search for The Podcasting Dead. For as little as $1 a month, you get all kinds of extra content. We've got some Walking Dead themed contests coming up here in a bit. And you get to hang out with us a little bit more than you do on the YouTube or on the iTunes or on the Spotify. So we'll see you at one of those places. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're The Podcasting Dead.